Here we go again. Good morning. Welcome to Infinity Highway. And greetings from Aurora, Colorado. Just over here, just east of Denver. Frickin' speed bumps. You know, I think I dislike speed bumps just as much as I dislike roundabouts. Roundabouts. What a pain in the ass. Don't like them at all. So let's see here, what's going on today? We got Friday, August 26th, 2022 is what they tell me. I mean, isn't that just kind of weird though? Like, we're just like, oh, it's 2022. Like, huh? I mean, I get it. Like, you know, it's just like calling it a day Friday, you know? Calling a day Monday. We gotta have some name for it, so that way we can reference to each other what day we're talking about when we want to meet someplace, right? I get it. So we're like 2022. Like, huh? Okay, I get it. 2022 in the name of the year of our Lord, or whatever they say, right?
1/4 mile. Turn right on Tower Road.
It's just a way for us to reference
Turn
history.
right at the traffic light.
Right? Or to reference the future. Right? Well, there's a big thing coming on Friday,
Say a command.
August 26, 2022. Like, there's a big thing happening, right? So we're like, oh, okay, I'll meet you there. Like, from 5 years ago, we're telling each other, yeah, it's going to happen in 2022. Yeah, okay, I get it. This is kind of a weird thing. Like,
In 1/2 mile, take the ramp on the right to I-70 West.
then again, maybe I'm just kind of a weird thing. That's a fact. I'm fully aware of that. I am definitely a weird thing. It's me. Like, typically, when like there's some sort of problem going off, right? In my experiences, right? It's typically me that's the problem. I'm usually the problem, so I get that too, right? It's like everything else is just kind of, that's just shit that's
In
happening.
1/4
Shit
mile,
that's happening.
take the ramp on the right to I-70 West.
The thing that makes it a problem is myself. I'm the one who makes a problem out of things, right? Take me out of the equation, well, no more problem. I figure. But it's like the planet's allegedly 4.5 billion years old. We're calling this year 2022. It's just strange. I don't know. Whatever. Okay, never mind. It is 9:36 in the a.m.
Take the ramp on the right to I-70 West.
Very comfortable. 74 degrees outside. Elevation about a mile high, of course. And we have just departed receiver, which was a pet store, pet distribution joint.
Continue on I-70.
Where we just delivered a load of like Huggies for pets, right? I think like soak pads, you know, pee pads and stuff like that, I guess. And that was our second stop, our second delivery on this particular load that we're hauling. We picked up a load back down in Carrollton, Texas a couple days ago. And it is a multi-stop load with miscellaneous freight. Our first stop we did yesterday, which was down in essentially Colorado Springs, but officially it was called Fountain, Colorado, just outside Colorado Springs. And that delivery was a load of food goods, miscellaneous food goods. And the remainder of this load we're hauling out to Glenwood Springs, Colorado, which is up here in the Rockies. Up in front of us, we're going to be hanging out on the I-70, running westbound through Denver, through past Golden and all that, and up, like I said, up into the Rockies. And the freight that we're going to be delivering today is miscellaneous petroleum products, I guess, like oil, like motor oil and stuff. We're delivering it to a what's it called? Like a farm equipment place. It's called Mosteto Brothers Equipment. So equipment dealer, heavy equipment dealer, I guess, or maybe light equipment, probably light equipment. And so, yeah, we got 7 pallets for them, so we're running light right now, which is nice. It's gonna make these hill climbs pretty damn convenient, pretty damn easy to deal with. Oh, come on, people. You guys gotta be freaking kidding me, man. So yeah, we got 166 miles, so light haul, short miles. You got up over there.
Following distance.
Yeah. Well, he just pulled up in front of me, so.
Increase following distance. Increase following distance. Increase following distance.
Yep, just standard Denver traffic for Friday morning commute here, of course. You know, I mean, it's kind of like, it doesn't even have to be like morning or afternoon commute. It's just standard Denver traffic. You know. So I'm going to let you go, and we're going to sit and drudge our way through this. Talk to you in a bit. Alright, here we go. Welcome to beautiful Colorado Rockies. We are making our way in and through Golden. And yeah, sorry about that big old streak right there. I stopped over at the TA in Wheat Ridge, topped off my tanks, and you probably saw the previous segment, the windshield was pretty well caked with bugs, so I washed all the bugs off, and that streak remained, and unfortunately I'm all out of bug juice. I'm all out of windshield wiper fluid, so I can't even get rid of it while we're driving, so we just kind of both got to deal with it. So just try to ignore that or enjoy the other scenery around. So 140 miles to go there to Glenwood Springs as I speak. Elevation 7,700 feet. My ears are dying to pop right now. We just climbed about 2,000 feet in about 10 minutes. Max, do your ears need to pop? Do dog ears need to pop? I wonder, like when we go up and down and stuff, or Is that not a thing for you? Huh, I wonder. Yeah, sensitive dogs' ears are, right? I wonder if he goes through any issues. Maybe that's why he does all like the fake yawning and stuff that he does when he's feeling embarrassed about something. It's usually what it is. He's like embarrassed about something, he'll fake yawn. But maybe it's just to make his ears pop. I don't know. Who knows? Oh, come on now, Max. Seriously, that's really not necessary. No, no, that was a road crew. Those were people. Sorry, that's probably kind of loud. No, hey, you're barking right in the microphone for the camera. Yeah, thanks, bud. Freaking dog. Oh, shush. Listen, I don't even want to hear it. I know, I don't want to hear it. Why don't you go eat your breakfast? Yeah, I just put your breakfast down there. It's ready for you. So, I have a bit of a story from our last delivery that we did. It would have been from my last video where we delivered a load of Purina canned dog food down in Sanger, Texas a few days ago, 4 or 5 days ago now, I guess. And it was a load that we picked up in Modesto, California. And so we got over to the Walmart / Sam's Club, and that's when the last video ended. So we went and got a door, docked, checked in and all that. And you know, the way they do it over there is you dock the trailer and then you uncouple, and then you just bobtail over to a parking area while they unload it, and then when they're done, they give you a call, and you go in, you get your paperwork, you go hook up your trailer, and then you exit, you depart. So they give me a call, and he tells me over the phone, he says, okay, so there was a problem, 2 of the pallets, he said, and the language he used when he called me, you know, and he wasn't the guy who actually unloaded anything, he was just relaying information. He says 2 pallets where we have to reject, send back to the shipper for damage. So, okay. So I called the boss and I says, how do you want, you know, how am I supposed to handle this? And he says, well, ask him if you can go in there and get pictures, because, you know, it turns into a whole mess of paperwork and stuff. You got to let the broker know, and the broker's got to decide, you know, how to proceed from there, whether or not to send me back to California to return the damaged product. As I said, it was dog food. So I go in, they're like, yeah, unfortunately we can't let you in the back, so what you can do is you go hook up to the trailer and drive it back around over to where the bobtail parking is. And he says if you need to, you know, we can get the receiving manager out here. I says, okay. So I go hook up the trailer, and while I'm still kind of there in the dock, I go hop in so I can get some pictures to send to the boss, just to kind of expedite things. And there's 2 pallets left over in there, as he told me. Come on, people. What are you guys doing here? I do need to get over, you know. There we go. Really, I would like to be able to get around this little van here. And the first pallet, it was like nothing wrong with it at all. There was some shrink wrap that had come undone, and I'm like, come on, seriously, because of the shrink wrap, you guys are going to reject this, you know. And I go look at the second pallet, and that one is pristine, like nothing wrong with it at all. The shrink wrap is fine. I mean, seriously, it's like pristine. So I get pictures and I get video and I send it to the boss. He's like, wow, man. He's like, they can't just reject that for the shrink wrap. I was like, yeah, I know. So I go driving back over to the receiving office, and I go in and I tell the guy, I says, man, I'm a little bit surprised that they're rejecting it, because the only thing that I can see that's wrong with anything is the shrink wrap on one pallet. The other one's pristine. The other ones were perfect, you know. And he's like, yeah. He says, well, God damn it, knock it off. Keeps rolling down the damn window. This freaking little van in front of me is driving me bonkers right now. Ay. I gotta get around this guy here real quick. Just bear with me here. I'm so light, I don't need to be going down hills that slow. So he goes, yeah, he says the receiving manager, what he said was that he saw like maggots and stuff climbing around the bottom of the pallet. And he says one of them stinks. I says, okay, well, can we get him out here? He goes, yeah. So he calls him. So we both walk out, me and the receiving manager, so he can show me exactly what it is he's talking about. And so we look at the pallet that's got the messed up shrink wrap, and he says you can see like there's all these little bugs and stuff, and there was like a big spider that had made a little nest. It actually looked like it was making egg sacs and stuff, but it was like a little nest, you know. And so at the bottom of the freight of the dog food cans, on top of the wooden pallet, and there was like cardboard underneath it, were all like dead insects that the spider had been eating, right? And then dropping the dead carcasses down, right? Man, we got another little freaking, this little blue Toyota is gonna start driving me nuts now. Jesus Christ. Over there having a conversation with this passenger, like with his hands and stuff. I can see him like, oh, just having a merry little drive. You know? And so, yeah, all these, you know, dead insect carcasses all over the bottom, right? I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And so what he had told me also, you know, so I had, you know, a better understanding of why he was being so concerned about it, was that on that very day that we were delivering that load, they were getting audited by food and safety, right? So they had food and safety people there on site inspecting their warehouse. Like, yeah, okay, I gotcha, I can understand that. And then we go look at the other pallet, and, you know, like I said, the shrink wrap was all perfect. And he goes, you can see back, and he shows me on like the corner of the stack of cans that there was leakage from one of the cans, and you could see that it had all been like back in there decaying and stuff. And so he goes, I saw larvae in there, and you can see in there, and there's all these little tiny little flies and stuff in there. And then there was another spider in there, and I could, and when he showed me this, now all of a sudden I'm smelling what it is he's talking about, right? And I'm like, wow, that does. I was like, okay, I got you. Yeah, if you got food and safety, man, you don't need to bring this shit, if you're doing, getting inspected. I get you. So, long story short now, we leave, and I have these 2 pallets of freaking dog food, which 99.9% of it was in good condition as far as the cans go, right? It was just he couldn't receive it because of the contamination and stuff, the insects and whatnot, right? Jesus. So now I'm leaving Walmart, and I got these 2 pallets of dog food, and we got to figure out what to do with them. And so the boss says, all right, head over to the TA, which was like 10 miles down the road, and hang out. And he goes, I gotta find out what the broker wants to do. The broker was JB Hunt. He says, we gotta find out, we gotta get approved what to do, whether we're gonna go dump it or what we're gonna do. I says, okay. So I go back to the TA, and the guy in the receiving office, because I had asked him, I was like, do you know of any place we can dump this? He's like, no, not really. And then later on, he's like, you might want to try calling an animal shelter. I was like, that's a really good idea. Like I said, the majority of the product was still good. There's just a couple cans that leaked out. So I told that to the boss. Anyways, so JB Hunt, I guess their offices are East Coast time, and they closed at 5. So that day was wasted. I guess that was like Tuesday, I think that sounds about right. So we spent the night over at TA, and Wednesday morning rolls around, and the boss calls me and says, all right, they got back to me and they just want us to go dump it. He says, but we need Max, god damn it, quit fucking rolling down the window, dog. Jesus, sorry. So he goes, yeah, so they said go ahead and dump it, but however we deal with it, he says we need a receipt that shows that we either dumped it at the dumps or whatever we did with it. I said, okay. So he gives me an address. He says, here's the dumps down in Denton. Just drive over there, we'll dump it off the back of the trailer. And I had Walmart, that's the other thing, is I had Walmart take those 2 pallets from the front, the nose of the trailer, and bring them to the back of the trailer for me, so I could get it off the back of the truck by hand, right? Easier, so I don't have to walk back and forth. So he sends me over to the dumps. So on my way over to the dumps, I get on this, I forget what it was like, we'll just, for the sake of what, the 408 loop or whatever that takes me over to the dumps. It's like a 60-mile-an-hour zone. And there was a truck that was up in front of me, up ahead of me, a semi. And the speed limit was 60 miles an hour. And he was going like 61, 62, and I just matched his speed and kind of hung back behind him. I'm in no hurry. I was probably a good quarter mile behind him. And we go over this hill, just a little hill that you can't really see over the top of, right, as you're coming up to it. But, well, on the other side of that hill, there was a cop waiting. And that cop pulled that truck over for 62 miles an hour in a 60 zone. I couldn't freaking believe it. Like, that's messed up. That is freaking shady, right? So now I'm like, all right, so I dropped down to 59. Yeah. I'm like, damn, dude, they're pulling people over for nothing. So I'm cruising along. We come into an area where there's some stoplights, and it's a 50-mile-an-hour zone. I'm doing 49, 50. and I get a red light, and I'm like, shit, I should run it. But in my mind, I'm thinking, God, that guy just got pulled over for nothing. I better stop. So I stopped, and I had to stop kind of hard. And I hear in the trailer, I hear these freaking cases just falling all over the place. And I'm like, son of a bitch, you know? So I get over to the dump. And they're like, what do you got? I says, 2 pallets of dog food. She goes, all right, let me make sure we can take it. She goes, yeah, we can take it. She says, but, she says, we've been getting rain. It's really muddy back there. We need to confirm that you have tow hooks. These, you know, for the front of your truck in case you get stuck with it, we can pull you out. And I says, okay. And the thing is usually you have these 2 big tow hook eyes that you stick in, like, and they're like, there's a holding thing for them in the engine compartment alongside of the frame on these Freightliners, right? And it's basically just something where you can keep them until you need to use them, kind of thing, right? And they're not in there. And I'm like, great. And I tell her, I was like, I need to go look for them. And so she goes, okay, you can turn back around and look for them, and then come back and get back in line if you find them. I says, okay. And I already knew we don't have any in this truck because I'm the only driver for this truck since the boss has driven it. And it was completely cleaned out when I moved into it. And I'm like, I know we don't have any. So now, okay, now we can't even go into the dump and unload this stuff. So the boss says, all right, well, see if you can get one of these guys who's coming in there and ask them if we can have them bring it into the dump for us. So I do that, and I get a couple of guys, and they're like, yeah, we can do it. We got to go dump our stuff. We'll come back and pull our trailer around. I says, okay. So they finish up, and we open up the trailer, and both pallets had slid all the way from the back of the trailer all the way up to the front. And he's like, whoa. This is going to take some time. I says, yeah, I know. He goes, you know what you need? He goes, you need to ask one of these guys who has a dump trailer, because that guy didn't have a dump trailer. He just had a regular flat trailer for like yard waste. He didn't actually have a dump on it. So I'm like, okay. So I said long story short, didn't I? I know it's taking some time. Anyways. So we can't find anybody who's going to be able to take this stuff off the truck for us and bring it to the dump. So the boss is like, all right, let me see what other kind of options we can do. And in the meantime, I'm like, all right, let me call that animal shelter and see if they'll take it. I call them, and they go, yeah, we'll take it for sure. And I told her I got 2 pallets, you know, but she said, yeah, go ahead, come on by. So I go on over there, and they're all, this is great, you know, it's an animal shelter, they're receiving a large donation, they're happy. So we're unloading this stuff, and so it was 4 of us. There was a girl who was hanging out on the very back of the trailer and putting the stuff on the carts, while 3 of us were in the trailer bringing it to the back, right, hand walking it back there. And all these cases had dumped off that pallet with the bad shrink wrap, right, like I said when I came to that stop. So we unload all that, and as we're getting close to all the cases that had fallen, she goes, so we're not going to be able to take both pallets. She goes, we just don't have the room for it. And I says, oh, seriously? That was kind of the deal, you know. She goes, yeah, I'm sorry, we don't have the room for it. And she goes, and we'll never use that much of it by the time it's going to expire and stuff. I was like, well, it's canned, right? It doesn't really expire. Anyways, I says, okay, well, you know, 1 pallet is better than none. They took 40 cases off of 1 pallet, and I think had 50. Okay, so we basically got 1 pallet taken care of. Now what? So I go back over to the TA, and I go in over there, and I asked the people at the shop, I says, hey, I got a case of a pallet of dog food. Any chance you guys want it, or I can throw it in your dumpster? She goes, well, she says, yeah. She says, normally we would have you back into the bay and we would keep it, because we know a lot of people have dogs. she says, but corporate's here, and they're doing stuff. It's kind of, the same way Walmart was. Like, the brass is here, and we can't really do that while they're here. I says, okay, when do they leave? She goes, 4 or 5. Well, so I had already a new dispatch to go pick up another load down in this load that we're hauling down in Carrollton, and they closed at 5. So that's not going to work. So I go over to the Loves across the street, across the interstate, ask those guys. He says, yeah, we'll take it. So one of the guys goes and he backs up his 1-ton diesel pickup to the trailer. And I'm thinking we're going to get a few guys back there. No, it turns out it's just him on the back of his pickup and me carrying these cases out 2 at a time to the back of the trailer. And it's a long walk back and forth in that trailer. And it's hot. And I open up the shrink wrap on this thing, and that corner where that stuff had leaked out was freaking repugnant like you wouldn't believe. It was so freaking foul and nasty and decaying detritus, dog food with larvae and flies, like house flies, and spiders in there eating them, and just freaking maggots. The nastiest, most repugnant shit you'd ever want to freaking lay your hands and your nose into. And so we unloaded all but I think 8 or 9 of the cases onto that guy's pickup. The rest of it was just like, dude, I don't even want to. I wouldn't ask you to put this on your truck, man. So I ended up having to deal with it. It was bad. I mean, it was just really bad. It was just nasty, and it was no fun. It was hot. It was just me walking all this stuff all the way to the back of the trailer. It was just not fun at all. It didn't take a horrible amount of time. We ended up making it to our pickup on time and all that, but it was no fun. It was just foul, nasty stuff. So, yeah, that was the story of that. I said long story short. Sorry about that, but boy, that guy's on fire. He smoked his brakes down that hill, boy. So that was a whole mess. It just was. But whatever, we got it done. And then I was actually a little surprised that those guys actually went ahead and decided to load me the other day, because there was food product they were putting on there, and the back of the trailer still smelled really bad. I mean, I sprayed some Lysol bleach around, wiped up stuff that had dripped down on the floor of the trailer as best as I could, but it still stunk pretty bad. It was pretty dang nasty stuff. Fucking asshole. Yeah, always an exciting time there. Trying to get up these hills. Guy went around me. He wasn't very happy about the fact that I got in that left lane to go around slow traffic, and he had to slow down, but he wasn't going to be able to get anywhere anyways. Like cars in front of me. Not like I held him up. I was getting held up myself. So, all right. Anyways, we'll put you down. We'll see you in a little bit. Alright, we just came out of the Eisenhower Tunnel. We are at an elevation of 11,100 feet, so to speak, as we descend back down the back side here. rolled down the window again, didn't you, Max? Yeah, you sure freaking did. For nothing. He just wanted to get one whiff of the outside air. Freaking dog. Welcome to Silverthorne. Hammer down here, people. Don't you frickin' jump in front of me, Chief, because I gotta speed up. Amazing. We got people apparently feel the need to be doing 45 miles an hour through here for some freaking reason or another. Max, move. Get down. Get down. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you know, there is a lot of people heading into the mountains, you know, and that makes sense. It's Friday. People are heading out of Denver to get some fresh air from the weekend. So there's just a lot of folks out here headed westbound today. People who aren't maybe as familiar with the road and how to drive it as some of us truck drivers who've done this many times know the road pretty well. People get up in the mountains, tight curves, and hills and stuff. It freaks them out. Really, I'm sorry about that streak. It's just, yeah, it's just kind of unfortunate. There's just nothing I can really do about it. So, my bad. It's kind of like ruining this video. It really is. I was thinking about about trying to like lean out the water, lean out the window with a bottle of water and try to spray it up on the windshield, but I have a feeling all that's going to do is just fly back in my face if I try it. So whatever. And I'm not really very interested in pulling off just for that. So sorry about that. Copper Mountain Ski Copper and Cooper. Copper Mountain Ski Cooper. Next right. Okay. National Mining Museum, historic Leadville. Ski rents up there on the right on the side of that hill. We have descended down to 9,700 feet, give or take. Got 82 miles to go. Kind of cool outside, 58 degrees. We're gonna pause here.